What kind of show is this? Can I have a snack, Daddy? Is my breakfast ready? Can I have a snack?
Hey everyone, I'm coming to you from my own private dad cave. Welcome to the Harts and Minds podcast, where dad jokes are currency, multitasking is a martial art, and spit up is just part of the uniform. I'm your host, Frank Harts, coming to you from the US, but this podcast isn't staying local, baby. We're going global. Each episode, we sit down with incredible dads from around the world to talk life, love, leadership, and occasionally Lego injuries. Here's what's on tap. A real deal conversation with a father who's out there living it, a short, sharp, inspirational dad-fueled minute to boost your day, and a vibe that's somewhere between a coffee-fueled pep talk and a late-night garage brainstorm.
Hey, Dad, you in there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll be out. Yeah, I'm working.
I'm hungry!
Oh, okay.
Are you coming out?
Whether you're in Tokyo traffic or a Texas parking lot, this podcast is for you. Because you're not just raising the bar, you're raising kids.
Dad!
Yep.
I'm hungry!
Just 2 minutes.
Dad!
Oh, okay. So you just be sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, all major platforms. Let's fuel up.
Open the door!
Ew. Okay. Yeah. I'm coming. I'm honored and thrilled to be sitting here with the brilliant James Martinez, wonderful actor, creative all around, and more importantly, a super duper dad. And we go way, 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 way back. We went to college together, all that stuff. We won't get into that right now, but tell the people, man, like, where are you from, man? Where are you from?
Well, I am from Jackson Heights, Queens.
Jackson Heights?
Queens, New York. But I am a first-generation Colombian kid. Both my parents are from Colombia, South America, not the university.
Yep.
And Jackson Heights, Queens, that specific neighborhood is basically the mecca of Colombian immigrants. I mean, they are very much present in that neighborhood, to the point that literally the block where I grew up, it's called La Pequeña Colombia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the culture there, the Colombian culture is very present, very prominent. And, it's very much a part of who I am. Just not only because my parents made sure that I never lost touch of my roots, but it was also very present in the neighborhood that I grew up in.
Uh-huh.
So I'll always be grateful for that, because it's what makes me me. You know, I'm fortunate enough to be bilingual, and and also as a dad, I'm passing along our traditions to my son and the next generation.
Well, that's amazing. Now, when you're walking around the streets of Jackson Heights, Queens, are you now? Because for those that don't know, I mean, you are one of the stars of Dexter: Original Sin on Showtime, and I mean, I'm sorry, is it on? It's on which network? Yeah, Showtime. Because I know now they have all of the
Showtime, Paramount Plus.
Yeah, all of them.
Very
and of course, go way back. We've been on House of Cards and One Day at a Time. I mean, people can IMDb the resume and they'll see it's like, a mile long. The point is, my question is, when you're walking around these streets, folks what are they recognizing you from most?
Well, recently it's been the more family friendly shows.
Yeah.
The parents with the kids, they're watching shows like One Day at a Time.
Yeah.
Love Victor as well, because these are shows about Latino parents that are having to address real issues with their families and their kids. We have kids that are coming out to Latino families, and that is a very untapped subject matter. And it's starting to get tapped now a lot. So these are shows that basically Latin families are looking to for guidance as to how to deal with family circumstances,
No, I know what
situations.
you mean, man. Like back in the day, it was like for me, it was like I'm looking at Uncle Phil on Fresh Prince,
Yeah, exactly.
Cosby, and
Yeah.
sometimes you find, or even like Roseanne at times, like I don't know, I love the way John Goodman walks around with a straight back and broad shoulders. I mean, that's how
Oh,
like that is supposed to be, but how it's amazing, like you say, how television really does influence how not only how we're brought up, but then in the end when we have kids, how we sometimes think about raising them.
yeah. And it really goes to show you the power that media and entertainment does have, because, there's no handbook to being a parent,
What?
really.
Oh, dang,
I
man.
mean, right, read all the books you want.
You're so
Like,
right.
your kid is your kid,
That's
and
right.
you're going to be the father you're going to be based
Mhm.
on the way you were raised. It's there's no formula to this. So we're all pretty much winging this, but we need to stay open and listen to what's going on in the world, to what's going on in our kids' schools, to what's going on in our kids' lives. So this is the type of thing that we're kind of figuring it out as we go. But these television shows are very helpful, and the people behind these shows, like One Day at a Time and Love Victor, have a really big responsibility, because parents are looking at these shows, whether you like it or not, to help guide them, to help answer some questions, to address certain topics that, especially within the Latin community, we don't want to talk about. So it's out there for help as a guide. We don't have all the answers, but as parents, we'll take what we can get and we listen.
As a parent, because your son's how old?
He just turned 5.
5. Wow. Okay, so that's like getting ready for the kindergarten
Kindergarten, yeah,
journey, right?
Kindergarten.
And how do you feel like being a dad has changed the way that you see your own father? Right, if at all.
Yeah, well, first of all, I do appreciate him even more now, for everything that he did, and even look at his at his flaws, and I don't judge them as much as I did before, because I know where he was coming from. I knew he was doing his best. It was a different time, also, a different country, so everything was different back in those days. I mean, especially within that time frame from when we were kids to now, the amount of change that has happened culturally, obviously through social media, it's astounding what the amount of, just in the last 5 years alone. So it was a different time, a different style of parenting. They had very different tools to work with. So I admire him. He was an amazing, amazing father. He passed kind of early in my life, but my mom took the reins, so she kind of put on both hats at the same time. So it also is affecting the way I look at my mother and the way she raised 2 young men. So there's something to be said for that, because a lot of times mothers have to take on the role of fathers. So let's not forget that it's not just men. And as I like I said, and as the years go by, as my kid gets a little older, I'm just transitioning him from a toddler room into a little boy's room. So
that's your son's room.
This is my son's room.
Okay. All right.
It
okay.
is. Believe
you
it or
got
not,
me.
Frank. Let me reiterate that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, I wasn't recording yet. I wanted everybody to know that definitely wasn't your room.
Thank you. See, this is why you're such a good
action
friend.
Figures. I mean, I wasn't sure. Now, when
some of these were mine.
Of course. I mean, look at this. That one's worth about 1,000. When for people that don't know, you're really also an expert. And then I want to finish what you were talking about. But you're an expert impersonator as well. Is there ever a time? I know you do. So many different impersonations of celebrities we all know. But is there ever a time when have you perfected your parents, your dad? I mean, do you remember him enough to actually impersonate him?
Oh yeah, I mean, I still have.
If he were to tell you to go and set the table or something, how would he do it? And you can say screw off too,
which he did a lot of.
Yeah.
So.
Next question.
Not so much set the table, but I do remember, you know, the disciplining was something that always stuck with me. It was just really funny, you know. I was a little kid, but he would talk to me like a grown man, you know. A ver, haga la mesa. Pero ya, ¿cuál es la demora? Vamos, you know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Does that sound like it doesn't sound like the tone you would use on a kid.
No. But
you know,
school,
I
man,
would march.
Yeah.
You know, I would march. And you know what? At the end of the day, there's so much talk about, like, especially, you know, these days when we talk about raising kids and you know, so much advice to youth right now, and so much talk about depression and lack of happiness and these mental conditions. You know, something that I've learned just in the last few years is that I want to focus less on making sure my kid is happy and focus more on making sure that he's strong. You know, just a mentally and spiritual warrior. You know, just someone who can really just let the emotional bullets and trauma and obstacles that come his way just, you know, bounce off him a lot easier than it does for some kids.
How does
you know,
something like that happen? How do you instill something like that in a child? I mean, like, you know, like one thing that you try to do to make sure that happens, and also, I guess the second part of that question is happiness really in the end connected to having that ability?
Yes, it's an emotional intelligence that involves a lot of sitting down and talking and really being present and not dismissing feelings. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. It's being aware of what you're feeling, why you're feeling it, and where it's coming from. Mm-hmm. And he's 5, and I'm having these conversations. And yeah, it takes sometimes repetition and kind of explaining things in a very simplistic manner, sure. You know, using examples. Man, look, I'm a handyman. I'm a child psychologist. I'm a plumber.
It's amazing, right?
I'm doing it all. I'm not those things, but I'm having to be all those things to just make sure that the household runs.
Yeah. And I've observed, you know, from the outside looking in, not like, you know, I'm not in your home every day, but I know you as a person. I've known you for a long time, and I've seen you interact with not only your son, but your wife as well. And, you know, I have a cheese monitor here if I get too cheesy, but just for lack of being too cheesy, and I really don't care, I just want to give you a pat on the back and say, man, you know, as a fellow artist, as a fellow actor and creator, I know how difficult, first of all, no matter what you do, no matter what profession you're in, as a man, as a dad, trying to do your part in the household, whatever that may be, and successfully raise a child or children,
yes.
Is a very difficult thing. And I just want to applaud you for spinning all those plates, keeping them balanced in the air in a very, you know, admirable way. And, you know, again, I know it's not easy. And so bravo to you, brother. And how do you find, you know, that balance, you know, between work life and home life? You know, is it sort of like a, you know, just a step-by-step, day-by-day kind of thing? Or do you have sort of a clear plan of like, this is how I'm going to balance my work life with my home life, you know, yeah. when I'm on the job? Because those hours can be very long.
Yeah, they can be. And, you know, the good thing is when it rains, it pours, you right. know, in this field. When a job comes along, it asks a lot of you and your time, and you plan accordingly. You know, my son's about to start kindergarten right now, so that's a whole new ballgame right there, because basically between daycare and pre-K, attendance is optional. You know what I mean? Right. Like, it's not as strict.
Yeah, and they get used to that, and they're like, wait, but now I have to go?
Yeah. That's kind of what we're going through right now. You know, we're explaining to him, you know, he just graduated pre-K, so now we're explaining to him what the difference is going to be now. Mm-hmm. You know, now this is the big boys club. You know, this is the kind of work you're going to do. This is what's going to be expected of you in school. Right. So, you know, he's starting to get it. So that's going to be another transition that I still haven't, you know, planned yet. You know, we're supposed to start, for example, season 2 in October, and that's going to be 5-6 months gone, you know, basically to California. He's going to be in New York. You know, how I'm going to balance this. But, you know, I also talk to other artists, you know, Christian Slater, who I'm working with right now, is a new dad, and he's having to balance that being a present father and a working actor, and he works a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm asking, we're having that conversation. I'm having that conversation with fellow artists who are also new parents, and we help each other out. We give each other advice. He was super helpful.
And he's an older parent too.
An older parent,
And I
yeah.
know how that goes because I didn't have my first until I was like 40, and my son's like, Dad, get down on the ground, play,
Yeah,
go
right.
on down. No, I
I'm
was like,
like,
we can do it from the couch, bro. I can
really?
sit here, you can do what you do, I'll observe, and no,
Yeah.
I try to get down without spraining something, man.
No, you have to. I literally just came back from the chiropractor. That's my new best friend.
Yeah,
Just physical maintenance
yeah,
and
man, yeah.
helps me keep up with my kid. And thank you so much for opening your doors to my family. We came over and I saw you do your thing, and,
Yeah.
and dude, you're doing amazing work too.
Yeah, you
And
saw a lot of like, sit down. I said, sit down, boy.
yeah, sit down, boy.
Sit down. I turned into like Bernie Mac.
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding. That didn't happen at all. That's just like the image of
yeah. Your
sometimes the
voice
dad I
goes
have in
down
my
a
head.
couple of octaves, man.
Exactly. That's the devil dad in the back of my head that never. I have to always push him down. I
Right.
never had that kind of like. Where did that dad come from? Like,
Yeah. I switch languages when I discipline. I like I turn into Ricky Ricardo. Mira, te dije que te callara, que no, que te sientes, coño.
Man,
And then back to okay, where were we?
I'm like, and this is, I guess I'll just throw this question out to you. This is probably the most important question of the podcast, and that is, what do you feed them? What do you feed? I need a snack. I want a snack. Can I have another snack? No, you can't have all of it at one. Mm-hmm. Can I have every banana at one time?
Yeah, that has been the biggest.
Like, what do you feed them for breakfast?
That is the catalyst for the biggest fights in the house is the food. The food when you eat what like he's finally stopped eating ice cream for breakfast. We kind of nailed that part down. But the coming home, so now it's like we're setting a schedule and the snacks, like healthy snacks. Where are the healthy snacks? And even things that disguise themselves as being organic and green and all this stuff, I look at the ingredients. It's just so hard to find, So like Costco has been my best friend. We have the internet. We're doing this like kids version of HelloFresh.
Oh yeah, okay.
Where the recipes are there and they come in little containers, and the rest everything is miniature, but it's designed for kids and to have some consistency. So we're not like every day, okay, what are we going to feed this kid? What are we going to feed this kid? So
right. So what, for example, for breakfast, like what have you moved now that the ice cream is out of it, has melted or been fully digested?
No, we got him used to. He also spent quarantine, because he's a COVID baby. He was born in 2020. So we actually spent quarantine in Colombia for about 10 months before flights opened back up again. It's a long story. I got a dual citizenship. I was able to fly in as a Colombian.
You have an escape route. Okay, I'm gonna talk to you about that later.
Yes, I was able to get out. But the reason I bring that up is because in Colombia the word organic doesn't even exist because everything is organic. It's fresh. It's out of the ground and then right to your table. So he spent basically his second year of life eating really, really well, really fresh, rice, beans, potatoes, vegetables, really lean beef and meats, a lot of fish. So that second year was crucial because, and I didn't even realize it, because it made year 3 and 4 so much easier. Obviously, after being in the States a little while now, he's kind of falling back into those American habits, which we're trying to kind of like reel him back into the good stuff. So it's taken some time. You have to kind of pull him back into the healthy habits, and he's getting there. But we're getting it. Just when you think you got something figured out, another
What would you say is like
thing comes along
that speaking of everything almost all figured out? What about being a father is what's the biggest thing that really just kind of caught you off guard? that you didn't expect? Like there are a number of things, right? But
Yeah.
what's the biggest thing where you're like, wow, that I didn't see that coming?
um, First of all, it's how fast the growth is happening. Um, I thought I'd have a little more time to be the father of a baby, and that moved so quickly. So the things that I was like, okay, I'll deal with that later, are coming at me a lot quicker. Questions that he's coming at me with, issues in school that he's coming at me.
Mm-hmm.
The disagreements, he's actually being very articulate about what he doesn't agree with. And he's talking back at me. And when he talks back at me, he's starting to have that smart ass tone about him. And it upsets me. And it also makes me sad because it reminds me of how fast he's growing up. So, all these things that I was putting off that I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. They're here. And they always get here way sooner than I thought they would. So it's finding that balance of love and discipline, basically. And that's what I'm having trouble with right now. But also it's just a matter of not being set in your ways and being open to being wrong, and having a conversation. And my wife is super helpful too. I mean, we're very hands-on parents, which is also very different from the way I was raised. In fact, the way I think our generation was raised in general. I don't think the dads were as involved as they are these days, our generation. So they're very present. So I'm having to have that feminine side of me very much there, even though it was suppressed for so long. Like I wasn't allowed to cry or be emotional or vulnerable or talk about my feelings, because that was considered just taboo or weak, or be a man, deal with it, figure it out. So,
which is interesting too, because it's like you mentioned, like a more feminine flavor that you sort of have to bring out, and we were both raised primarily by our mothers, right? That's right, correct?
Yeah.
And so it really is amazing when you think about it, how like because basically most of the people who raised me were like strong women, and my grandfather as well, but yeah, like. I guess there was something exciting about being raised by a mother that sort of translated when I raised kids. It sort of helped me understand how to have a more compassionate approach. Not that dads aren't as well, but and at the same time, I almost found myself overcompensating at times for the dad that maybe I thought should have existed, or whatever I thought that idea of being a dad was. And in the end, I just had to realize that, okay, whatever you are finding out about parenting, masculine, feminine, strong discipline, pull off the gas a little bit. In the end, what I had to realize was that that he's not, my children, my boys, 6 and 3, are not me. Oh, right. They are a part of me. And I always see major parts of me pop through. But in the end, it's like, Frank, dude, calm down. He's not you. He's not who you were when you were a kid. Right. He's not going to be who you are when he gets older. He's going to be who they are going to be. Sorry, I'm thinking about my oldest now, because he's in that zone right now, like you said, that sometimes combative zone, or just the ability to question, it's like, wait, you're talking. I thought I'm just used to you going mama la mum bum nom 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 nom. Now you're like, what I was thinking was about breakfast. I thought maybe we would have wait. You're speaking in full sentences now. It's like,
right.
But understanding, I had to get to the point where I was like, all right, look, dude, like he's. I used to think like, okay, when he did something that he wasn't supposed to do, that he did it for the reasons I might have done it when I was a kid. No, or when he did something positive. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I would have done when I was a kid. No, he did it, or they do it because they are who they are, and they're growing up to be who they are. So I had to, that moment of acceptance and realization was big for me.
And they're growing up under a very different environment that we grew up in.
Oh man,
them being not you is inevitable. Like they are going to be who they are because they are who they are right now. And we were who we were back then. We are who we are now because of who we were back. So you're right. You're absolutely right. That's why I keep using the term open, staying open and flexible, having an open mind and listening and paying attention to his wants and needs, his desires, what he's attracted to, like the things he's passionate about. That's something that my mother did.
Okay.
You know, when I was 14, you know, after my dad passed, you know, it was like what saved me was theater. I mean, that's what kind of gave me a sense of purpose. That's why I went full throttle in this field, was because it was basically my salvation. And my mother saw that, and she didn't say, "Oh no, that you need to pick something else, another career path." No, she saw the happiness it was bringing me. She saw that it was saving me from the sadness and the mourning of my father, you know. And she said, "Go." In fact, she was like bringing me flyers, looking up acting schools that I can go to. So she was really, really supportive. And in the end, it changed my life. You know, it really did.
I've never seen someone so. I mean, I've seen. I guess I have seen, but you're in that category of people that I admire as artists because you really. It's not just like I respect the craft and you know you study the craft. Yeah, you did all of that stuff, but you're really dedicated to the work. You know, the study, but also the details, which also makes you a great impersonator as well.
Yes, that's how it started.
Because, you know, anybody can get up there and look pretty, right? And have some basic craft under their belt.
Yeah.
But it's those actors like yourself that really focus in on the details of what makes a character and a story that really always fascinated me about you.
Yeah.
Your work ethic, I should say, which is again connected to something cultural, I would imagine, as well, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And, so how do you find that the cultures, how do you, because, you know, like my mother's Irish, my dad Black, you know, so there's the two sides, whatever. I won't get into all that right now, but the idea is like, how do you teach, share all of those cultures with both of those cultures with your child? You know, because you have, you know, how do you let him live the American life, but also stay connected to? And you said you spent 10 months and you know,
and
so I guess that's one way, right?
You're just emphasizing the importance of family. He's always around family, and my family, they sure have not lost touch with the culture, the food, the music, our belief system, our faith in God, church. These are things that it takes a village, as they say. And the reason that's so true is because my family is helping me raise him in a way that basically I was raised, which is to not lose sight of what's important, you know, the importance of family traditions, our faith in the church, our faith in God, our language, just traditions that I think are very important and valuable in his moral compass. But these are the good things, you know. Let's keep in mind that there are things in our culture that also we needed to shed and let go of. And, you know, just to kind of break certain cycles that I didn't like the way they were looking, just because of the consequences I would see in my family's life, because of the certain ways of thinking that I just was like, okay, that part of my family's belief system I wasn't really into. So let's just take the good, you know, let go of anything that doesn't serve us, and continue the path that I think we should be on. So there are a lot of beautiful things about the way I was raised, but there were also a lot of things that I feel didn't serve me, and I don't think would serve my son.
Yeah.
So,
and do you have a tradition that you sort of come back to year after year as a family? Is it something that you like to do? Some people, like, you know, they go camping or whatever. Or what's a thing that you just a tradition that you've created for your family that really maybe not has nothing to do with your upbringing, but something that you and your wife decided, you know what, we're going to do this for our family every year.
Well, my mom, my wife's family is not as big as my family. I'm okay. My father is one of 23 brothers and sisters, so huge family. I mean, a family reunion.
I'm just thinking of that water bill.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking
that water bill. I know. Well, they grew up in farms. That's how they grew up. They basically were raised working the farms, growing crops, and they became my grandparents' employees. I mean, that's kind of how it happened. So the tradition that we've always had, that my father always had for me, was family reunions during the holidays. And these family reunions are huge. And this would happen right before Christmas. Nochebuena basically is the time of year that we would all get together. Nochebuena is Christmas, is the night, Christmas Eve.
Love Christmas.
Yes. And, we are a very, very Catholic family. So it is a very important night. And we all celebrate it by being together and catching up with each other. Obviously, I live in the States, they live down there. So we are very much, it's a perfect time of year to get back in touch with family, what's important, our spiritual life, our faith, and to have my son be around that literally every year for the 5 years of his life so far has had an amazing impact on him, and a positive one. So that's definitely something we kept on going.
Well, I know you're a great dad because not only because I know you, but because you bring the best birthday gifts.
Yeah. Oh, do I?
Yeah, man. You were the winner last year. Those laser guns, man. Were.
Oh yeah.
It was. We don't judge gifts. We don't judge.
Right.
But your dang gift was the best one. That's all I'm gonna say. It took a lot of batteries. But they had hours of enjoyment out of that, man. And but now, so what? Before we go, I know we're running out of time, but what is something that people just, everybody thinks they know James Martinez? What don't folks know about you that you would like them to know?
Well, that I think you brought it up yourself. I don't think people know that I am a comedian.
Funny as hell.
I mean, even though I'm not practicing it anymore, but
daily as a dad, man. You're always a comedian as a dad.
Yes.
What's your go-to dad joke, man?
Oh my God!
But you gotta tell the joke as Michael J. Fox, or as what's the best? I'm trying to think. You did Michael J. Fox, you did Michael Jackson, you did all these. What's your favorite impersonation?
I think my favorite impersonation, I think is especially since he just made a huge comeback, is probably Michael Keaton.
Oh, I'm Batman. Give it to me. Come on, give it to me. Give me something. Come on, anything. Tell me what we're gonna have. We're going out, and he's looking at the menu. What's Michael Keaton looking for on the menu? What's he looking for?
All right, we have here. This is a beach community, right? So how's the cod? Is it fresh? Great. All right, you know what? Let's do something else. Do you have anything? Is it grilled, fried? How's the bread? Garlic? All right, honey, do you mind if I have a little garlic? Is that, yeah, she's okay. We don't really kiss. Are we kissing tonight? Yeah, let's have the garlic bread. That's good. With the cod grilled, good. All right, yeah, we'll come back here. It's nice. Kids, you good? All right. All right, let's wrap it up. All right, thanks.
Yes, I love that. Let's wrap it up. Bro, like that is one of my favorite actors of all time, and you just nailed it, man. And folks better not sleep on Multiplicity either, by the way. I feel like that was underrated.
You. Yeah, that was my go-to because not many people were doing that impression. I was like, okay, this one's gonna be a for sure hit.
Best Batman of all time. Yeah, right. Yeah, man. And one of these days, folks will get to see you do that killer Michael Jackson. He can get physical too, folks. He does that the moonwalk like you wouldn't even believe. But
yeah,
listen, man.
That time. My kid loves when I do Michael Jackson moves. When I'm like just changing or it's bath time. Like I'll put on. He knows all the Michael Jackson songs because of me. So
wow, who doesn't? Yeah. What kid doesn't love their dad? Moonwalking into the room in the morning talking about good morning. That just doesn't happen. I come in as Bernie Mac. You come in as Michael Jackson moonwalking. That's
Hey,
great,
look,
James. Listen.
it's fun. Like being an artist is like being a kid. So I feel like whenever an artist it becomes a parent, it's like what a lucky kid that he has a parent whose whose inner child is very much alive.
Yeah, as long as they're a working artist.
Yeah,
Otherwise, they're just sitting around like
you said it.
just angry all the dang time.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know?
no, when you're not working and the
You don't want to be
paper's
a
not
parent.
stacking right, that child
No, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. Dad was
starts fading. Yeah.
it was a little crazy. But so you got Dexter. For those who haven't seen Dexter Original Sin, check it out and look at all of James's work if you haven't seen it already. I want to thank you for taking the time out to be with us today, brother, on Harts and Minds, and giving us a little bit of that dad fuel that we all need to make it through that next step. And I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation. And again, bravo for being a stellar father, man. You deserve a huge pat on the back, brother. And you have a great partner there. She's amazing.
Yes. You're doing your thing too, man.
Yeah.
Keep trucking, man. And this interview actually reminded me I got to turn on my son's air conditioning because.
Oh, you trying to raise that power bill up? You better sweat for it.
Take it down.
Yeah.
I turn off the AC. You're not in your room. The AC is off, boy.
That's right. And when I turn the AC on, I make sure the next morning when he wakes up, he sees nothing but job applications on the wall pasted on there. He can just pick which one he wants. He's 6 years old now. It's time to get to work.
Get to work.
Much love to you, brother. And
all right.
More soon. All right, y'all.
Yeah.
It's James Martinez.
Thank you, everyone. Awesome.
All right.
Have a
Talk
good
to you
one,
later, brother.
Yep.
Peace. Here's another dad-fueled minute. The power of play. Being a dad isn't just about fixing things or giving sage advice. It's about showing up in the moments that matter. And sometimes those moments look like you doing a terrible British accent while pretending to be a wizard named Sir Bubblepants, or getting body slammed by a 4-year-old in a living room wrestling match that somehow involves a couch cushion championship belt. It's about saying yes when they ask you to toss them just a little higher in the pool, and even if your shoulder is already questioning your life choices. It's about becoming the dragon, the pirate, the tickle monster, the human jungle gym, not because you have time, but because they'll remember it forever. Sure, you might be tired, you might be stressed, you might have a to-do list longer than a CVS receipt, but when your kid says, "Want to play?" that's not just a question. That's an invitation to their world, a world where you're the hero, the sidekick, the comic relief, and the heart. These moments are fleeting. They won't always ask. So when they do, accommodate. Improvise, wrestle, laugh, be ridiculous, because fun isn't a luxury, it's a legacy. Fuel up, Dad. The world needs more Sir Bubblepants.